Let's have a look at the import facility and get booked up. Whichever edition of the software you're running, you'll find it under the setup menu and you'll find it near the bottom, import clients, and that opens this grid here. So to import your existing clients, you need to save them in a CSV text file format or a tab delimited text file format. If you've got them in an Excel file already or in a spreadsheet file, you should be able to save those as one of the formats. So it's CSV text file or a tab delimited text file. I'll put the formats on the screen for you there. What we've also done is try and make it as easy as possible to use this facility to actually edit some of the data, and you'll see how that works. And that'll save you having to go backwards and forward to the file and making changes before you can do the import, because we do some data validation to make sure that you're not just importing any old rubbish, and make sure that it'll come in cleanly. So the first thing we need to do is the import file is we need to locate the file. So if I click locate file and I look on here, I've got mine and I've already called it clientlist.txt. So I'm going to open that one, and that brings it into this grid here. And we need to do basically what it says here. We need to look at the file data, review and amend the data, and for each column select the get booked up ID or click ignore to ignore the column completely and not import that. So what that means is at the top here we've got what get booked up calls the various columns in the database, and then we've got the third line down here, we've got what your column ID is on the header and on your data that's coming in. So what we need to do is go through each of these columns and match up the headers or click the ignore button on this line here. So let's have a look at the first one. Name title is what get booked up call it, and we've got your ID column here, name title. And then we've got first name in your field here, but we've not managed to match that up to anything. So if we have a look in here, we should find that we've got, let's have a look, forename. So in get booked up, we call it a forename. The next one is last name. So if we have a look in get booked up, we'll find that that's family name. Then we've got business name, which it has matched up. And then we've got address note. Now you can see from the information in the column here, the grotto is obviously a house name, so it's correctly matched that one up. And then we've got house number and street, and that's obviously address 1 in the file that we're importing here, because you can see we've got the house number and street here. District is usually the village or the area of the town, and again that looks like that's matched up correctly. Town is the postal town, and again that looks like that's picked that up as well. Address 4 is often used for the county, so that's what we've got here, and that's matched that up as well. And then we've got postcode is what you've called it in your column ID. Obviously it may be something different, but in this file that we've opened here it's called postcode. We've not managed to match that up, so we can click this in here, and if we have a look in there, that's called postcode. So if we scroll along a little bit further, we can see what else we've got. We've got home telephone number, work and mobile telephone number. Now obviously they've matched up correctly. Emails matched up correctly. We've got a last job date as well. That's matched up correctly. We've got a contact source. We need to put that in here. So you can put that in if we scroll down, you can put that in there. Where did you first hear about us? So that's the contact source that we've got in there. Then we've got comments. If we have a look in this one, there's a couple of places you can put any comments that you've got. We've got a field that's called comment public, and that's immediately visible on the front screen, but it does put it into the public comments section, so that's information that you don't mind the client knowing that you've got. We also have a field that we just call old details. So if you want the information just to be available on the old details tab within the client record, any old comments that you've got from your old system, we can put that in there. So we're going to put that into there now. And also we've got do not mail shot, that again comes into get booked up as do not mail shot. Now with this one we're fortunate because we've not had to ignore any of these column headers that we're not able to import. But if you did need to ignore any, for instance if you wanted to ignore the name title, you could just click the ignore and that won't bring that information in. So if I untick that now. Okay, so we've lined up the column headers so they all match and they're going to come into the correct fields. The next thing that the Get Booked Up system's done already, it's done some validation on this system here. Sorry, some validation on the data here. And you can see here it's saying that the 0 errors found in column 1, column 4, 5, 6, 7, etc. And if we scroll down these here, we'll see that it's one of the errors it was reporting is that there's one error found in column 13. So we've got the columns across the top here. If I just run along to column 13, and then I can look down the list here, and if I look down there, I can see that there's a box there that's marked green. So if you hover over there, hover over the exclamation mark icon, it tells you what the problem is. It tells you that the entry is too long, and you can have a maximum of 24 characters there. So I can click into this field here and delete. We've got the telephone number and then obviously some free text as well, and it says brother's number. So if I just delete the number section, we might find that when we move out of that field, that's now acceptable. Okay, so there's only one error in that column, so we know that's finished. If we look back at the validation here again, we can see that there's also one error found in column 14. Well, we can see that immediately. That's displayed here as well. And if we hover over the icon, it tells you that it looks invalid. There's no @ being found. So obviously that's an incorrect email. Now if you want, you can have a stab and put the @ in where you think it would be appropriate, if that's what it thinks the error is. Or alternatively, if you want, you can just actually completely delete that. So we can delete that out of there now. Okay, if we continue scrolling down this list here, so we can scroll down, and it tells us that there's 0 errors found in all of the other columns. So there's just those 2 bits of information that needed editing. If you like, you can just click validate all again, and that'll check through, and then you can see here that you've got 0 errors found in columns 1, and if we scroll down, they should be in sequence all the way through to column 18 there. So we're importing 18 columns into Get Booked Up. It's also worth knowing as well that you can actually completely remove a line from the system. So if we highlight a line here, line 10 for instance, you could click remove line 10 and that'll take that out of the system completely. So if you've got something in there that's got lots of blank fields and is going to be complete nonsense, you can click remove and that'll take that out there. All you need to do now is click the import button at the bottom here, and that will run a backup on your database before it does the import, and then it'll do the import for you. Once it's done the import, it'll tell you the results here. 34 clients have been added to the database. There's some people may need to import 2 or 3 different spreadsheets from various different packages they've been using over the period. So what we've done is at the top here on the import file, we've put a button that says clear. If we click that, that clears out the information in the locate file here. And again, we can just select this text here and delete that, so the validation field's empty as well. So that's it. It's ready to import the next set of data, and you've added your 34 clients from your database.